If you're not using email and SMS to increase the lifetime value of your customer, then you need to listen to this podcast.
Welcome to Ecommerce Revamped, where we break down the hottest trends, insider tips, and strategies shaping the future of e-commerce. Powered by Miva, the engine behind seamless online stores. Now here's your host, Rob Stanley.
Just like I said at the beginning, if you're not increasing your lifetime value of your customers using email and SMS, then you're definitely missing out. And we got Eddie Maalouf, and we're going to bring him in the studio actually right now. Eddie, what's going on?
What's up, Rob? Good to see you,
brother.
Man.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen up, everybody. Eddie's incredible at doing literally a lot of paid ad stuff, but a lot of people don't understand that he's also amazing at email and SMS. And we're going to kick this right off with Eddie. How soon should people send an email post-purchase, and give us a little information on what should be in that email?
Yeah, great question. So just to start off on the note about the ads and the email stuff that you talked about, my theory, externally everyone's like, oh, Eddie, you're so good at ads, blah, blah, blah. You run ads for all these massive companies. But that's not actually the trick or the sauce, as people call it. The sauce for me is basically on the back end. How can I increase the customer AOV? How can I increase the customer average order value? How can I get more gross profit margin out of a customer on the first order, on the 30-day order, on the 60-day order, etc.? Because then what it allows me to do is afford to spend more to acquire a customer than other people, which actually makes my life easier. So imagine like someone gave me $100 every time I got a sale, and someone gave my opponent $50 every time they got a sale. It's probably going to be a lot easier for me to put resources towards getting a sale. So that's, I think, one thing at a high level concept. But back to your question, when should people send an email? Immediately after is always the best time. So from a post-purchase standpoint, I think maybe on that note, one of the biggest mistakes is, people rely on basic order receipt email, shipping update emails, and they assume that that's like totally acceptable post-purchase. When in reality, the time of the purchase is the time that technically the customer up to this point is the most bought into you that they could be, right? You could have a late delivery by a day, and now they're less bought into you. They could open the product, and there's a risk that they don't like the packaging of the product in person. And so that decreases how likely they trust you or like you. So technically, for a good period of time, that point when they made the purchase, they said, okay, I'm willing to take out my wallet. I'm willing to spend money on this that I worked hard for. That's the moment that they're like most trusting of you, right? And so it'd be silly not to get them to trust you further in that moment. So what we do across all the brands that we work with is one of two things, sometimes both together. Number one is, this is my chance. If I'm more of a front end business, meaning I, not like cosmetics or things that are perishables or supplements, things that are just one time. Hey, I'm going to buy a set of wheels for my car. I'm probably not going to buy another set in 60 days. Anything like that, that's very front end related. I think this is your best chance to upsell someone, if besides like selling them in the cart and things like that. And I can give some examples later. The second thing is, if you're more of a back end brand, meaning, apparel and the other stuff that I'm talking about, consumables, your goal is to get that customer to buy as many times as possible from you, to spend as much money as possible from you. There are clothing brands that I bought, my first order was $150, and I checked yesterday and I'm $18,000 deep into their e-commerce store over the last few years. That's what I'm focused on, right? And that's what you want to focus on. And the best way to do that is to get them bought into your brand and your brand story and your founder and why you started the business and what's the purpose of the business and who do you serve in the business and all these amazing things. So we make our first email look like a written letter from the founder talking about the brand and everything, why they started it, what they stand for, the problem that they're trying to solve, and thanking the person for being a part of that solution, etc. You have no idea the amount of brand equity that you build with someone when they have a direct line to the founder, from their story, from how they started it, from why they started it, from who they're serving, how they make their products, all these things. It makes me want to go tell other people about it. It makes me want to go back and shop for more. It makes me more bought into the product and the process and believe in the outcome that the product's meant to create. At the end of the day, all of us are selling a product that creates some sort of outcome. If it's food, the outcome is like, I feel full and I'm satisfied with the taste. If it's protein bars, it's, it tastes good and I want to get better. Everything has an outcome specifically. And I think people believe more in the outcome when they believe more in the person and why they built it in the first place. And they don't think it's just like a money grab of someone trying to sell a product online. So I think those are the best 2 emails to send. Again, one is more of an upsell, and that's based on people who have front end businesses. If you have more of a back end business, I would take that opportunity to build brand equity and then upsell maybe in the next few emails that come out after that.
I love that. Yeah. Hearing the story or getting something from the founder and learning more about the company I just spent my money with would definitely bring me back, depending on the item. Like, obviously, like you said, rims or tires or something like that, a little different. But let's face it, a lot of companies don't do that. They're doing, smaller or items that are literally a little easier to purchase, not so expensive. Eddie, one of the things we used to do, and I'd like you to kind of touch on this, is we would always take advantage of our online invoice, or sometimes the thank you email we'd send out. Like, they would go out saying thank you for purchase, and then here's your invoice type thing. We used to always put like either a code in there, or hey, here's a extend your warranty type thing within there. So it was almost like a slight sell within it. But have you seen people do that, or what kind of mistakes have people made with like a thank you type email?
Yeah, so that's what I'll, so that'd be like a good example, but you're not a front end business, but like, let's just pretend you are a front end business and you did the same thing. I'll tell you what I do. One, you have to understand people value a logical reason of why you're giving them the discount versus just giving them the discount. When you just give them a discount, you're actually training the consumer to want discounts with you. When you give them a discount that's justified by logic, I'll explain in a second, and a very clear example, you get such a higher take rate on the discount because they believe in the scarcity of the discount. So let me give you an example. I sell wall art. Okay, so let's just take this as an example. Stuff like this, I know, super cute.
I love that.
So we sell wall art online. On the post purchase, beforehand, it was like your typical, hey, congratulations, thanks for your order, here's our story, blah blah blah, here's how we make our materials. By the way, if you add something else to your cart, we'll give you 30% off right now, but this code expires in 24 hours. Crickets. Maybe like 3-4% people took that and actually ran a discount and went back and purchased again. I went and I changed it. I said, hey, instead of 30%, I'm going to do 22%. Okay. And then eventually, by the way, we got down to 18% was the lowest I went. So I was able to get this to 18%. So I'm going to use 18% as an example. I go, hey, listen, thanks so much for shopping with us. We're glad you loved our products. We're sure there's probably something else you wanted to buy, but it maybe didn't fit the budget or whatever the case is. When we actually make our products, our biggest cost that we have to pass on to you as a consumer is shipping. Because shipping is so expensive, we have to put them in big dimensions. It's heavy to ship. It's like a massive big box that we have to put it into. So if you order more things under the same email address, we will give you all the savings that we make from not having to pay more in shipping costs, and we'll pass that whole 18% to you. This is the only time you'll ever get this discount code, and you have to do it in the next like 24 to 48 hours. If your code stops working, that means we've already packaged your product. If your code works still, that means the product still hasn't been packaged and you've ordered just in time, and we'll make sure to include that savings to you. And so now people assume that I'm passing on the savings to them. There's a clear logical reason why, number one. Number two, when I actually do this, if you think about it, it creates blind scarcity. There's no timer on the screen counting them down. There's no 24 hours. There's no 12 hours. It's created as if like, hey, when the order is done, it's done. And really, in reality, I put it for like 28 hours or something like that, right? Just so it's like around the time that we complete an order normally. And if they order after, whatever, I'll pass the savings on and I'll ship it separately, right? But it gave a very logical and clear reason why. And dude, our rate went from like 3-4% to literally 22% of people started purchasing on the post-purchase upsell email. And dude, they would come back for hundreds of dollars. Like, I think it was like $380 AOV after the 18% discount on the second order that they made. And they made it in that moment because I passed on a logical discount and I made it clear. And they had no, like, it's almost like curiosity is strong enough to just go try the code just to see if it still works, so that the product hasn't shipped, and then you're kind of in there trying to make a decision happen, right? So I basically like 7x'd our output on the post purchase just for making it a logical discount instead of just a discount I want to give so you buy more money. And think about it, our original discount was 30%, and people were taking it less than 18% because it had logic behind it.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to use that somewhere down the line, or definitely pass that on. Listen, we're talking a lot about like emails, using the thank you to, generate more money. Let's talk a little bit about email flow. Like, how many emails you should be sending out, when you're sending them out, to generate, these extra potential sales or post-purchase sales. Help us out.
Yeah. So, couple things on that. So one, overall, how many emails should someone send in general? Really depends on the size of the list and how much you segment, right? So we segment pretty deeply. We segment based on activity. We set activity in the list. We segment on activity on the store. We segment on the recency of their last order. Are they subscribed to SMS or not subscribed to SMS, etc. And just a side tip on the SMS thing. Everyone should be doing SMS. It's the most profitable platform by miles, even more than email. And what I do, for example, if you're using Klaviyo or something, in the footer of your email, you can put a section that's always in the footer section that incentivizes them to subscribe to SMS. And if they end up subscribing to SMS, you could have that footer hidden on all the emails. So it's just a filter you put on. So you send the same email to everyone. If I'm subscribed to SMS, I don't see that. If someone is not subscribed to SMS, they do see that. Very easy way to start transitioning people over. But in general, how many emails to send? I mean, dude, we have some stores that are really deeply segmented that I don't send to everyone. I send to like 15 filters on that list, for example. I can send 40 emails a month to that list and be totally fine because the same person isn't getting 40 emails. Whereas another company that doesn't have that level of segmentation because maybe they're not on Miva, they're not on other platforms that are pretty good. They don't have that kind of tagging and segmentation. Like it's hard. Sometimes you can't send more than like 12 to 15 emails a month if you don't have enough reasons to actually email them with value. Now, the key here overall, though, and I think what most business owners miss in the e-com space is that they don't actually give value, and they don't understand that giving value creates a trust that actually generates more sales than discounts and one-time promotions and things like that. I see a lot of brands when I audit their stuff, out of 20 emails a month they're sending, 16 are selling something and 4 are just talking about like maybe their weekly newsletter or whatever. Whereas like if you are a brand and you sell a protein, if you could send a recipe, like a few recipes once a week, a workout once a week, blah, 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 all these things that are valuable, it builds trust with the consumer. And now they look forward to your emails and they want to open more, and your open rates go up and your segments get bigger, even if your open rates stay the same. And that's where the damage is really done. So like actually providing value and segmenting. But on the post-purchase side, I send one immediately after. I send one when the product's arriving. I send one after the product arrives, not your typical arrival email, but like, hey, congratulations. Just a reminder in the last email, here's all the ways to use the product, blah, blah, blah. So for example, let's just say I sold a fat burner or a thermogenic supplement of some sort, right? I would want before they got it to be like, hey, take a progress picture. So like something I do for a brand like that is I'd actually create like a 60-day calendar of everything that's going to happen every day. Okay, day one, you're going to take a progress picture. And you're gonna go work out for the first time, whatever, right? Day 2, we're gonna make sure that we're doing this for breakfast, right? Baby steps. Day 3, whatever. Day 10, progress picture number 2. Take another progress picture. And every day, one of the reminders is you got to take the supplement. You got to take the supplement, right? And so I'm getting them in the habit of not only getting the supplement, but remember the reason we're selling the supplement is the outcome in the first place, right? So if I can create habits for these consumers where these consumers can actually become habitually inclined to use our products because I'm putting them in that pattern and I'm relating the product to the outcome. Really, the outcome is they took progress pictures so they can see their weight loss, right? The outcome is they're actually dieting. They're actually working out. They're doing all these things besides the fat burner that actually gets them the outcome that they wouldn't get the same outcome with just taking the fat burner and sitting on the couch. I've now created these habits around the fat burner, and the outcome, which is weight loss, is not associated to those habits. It's associated to the fat burner. And so this person will forever take this fat burner, or at least whatever, 6 to 12 months, whatever the case is. The LTV on that person is significantly higher than someone who I just sell. Think about it. They took my fat loss, and then my next email to them is, hey, congratulations, you should buy our protein. And the next email after that is like, hey, since you love their fat loss, you should try our vitamins and blah, 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 which is what most people do. But what I'm trying to do is how can I indoctrinate them into making my product consumption habit? If I can't get them to buy more products, like the wheel example as a whole, I'm trying to get them to refer people to buy more products, to show them other products that are not the same one that maybe they can purchase as well. And so You got to pick and choose based on the industry that you're in, but the goal is to build trust and to indoctrinate the person into wanting to open your emails and wanting to be a part of your brand more than they were before.
I love that. You could throw a case study in there, and within that case study shows the supplement they're using. And then somebody used this other supplement that happens to be yours also, how they work together and how they lost even more because of that. We're not going down that rabbit hole right now, but listen, we are, obviously talking about email, SMS, follow-up, post-purchase type scenarios, what to do. Eddie, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, though, I want to talk to you a bit more. Eddie's going to give us his go-to email and SMS tools. He's going to actually share those with us on what he uses for emails, what he uses for SMS on these things we've been talking about. We're going to do that right after this commercial break.
Ready to revamp your online store? Miva's e-commerce platform offers powerful tools and flexible solutions that grow with your business. From design to checkout, Miva has you covered. Don't just sell, stand out. Check out miva.com/podcast to start building your dream store today.
So head on over to miva.com/podcast. We've got lots of great resources there. I got Eddie Maalouf on, and we're talking from Bad Marketing. I forgot to mention that at the beginning, by the way. Eddie's got a great marketing company called Bad Marketing. We are talking about basically post-purchase, lifetime value, how to use these email and SMS to extend that. And right before the break, Eddie was going to share with us some of his go-to email and SMS tools that he uses to do these things that we just got done talking about. Eddie, share it with us.
I notice when I share a bunch of tools, no one uses any of them. So I'm just going to share one tool instead. That's my no-brainer. Have to use it no matter what store I have. Every store I have runs on it. Every one of my client store runs on it. Every one of my friends' agencies' client stores runs on it. And that is a software called OpenSend. Transparently, it's such a good software that about a year and a half ago, I invested a pretty significant chunk of money into that business because I believed in it so much. But basically what they do, and there's a lot of products that do something similar online that preach that they're better. But OpenSend's the only one that's directly integrated with Klaviyo, and that's by Klaviyo's choice, not by anyone's choice. And to even see that Klaviyo, a big email platform, picked this platform over other ones, I think should say enough. But that being said, what OpenSend does is when someone comes to your website, let's just talk percentages here, right? Maybe 2 to 3% of people will purchase. So there's 97% of people left that don't actually give you their information. Then you have like a pop-up of some sort, right? That maybe generates another 10%, let's call it. So now you have 87% of the traffic. You paid for this traffic. You probably spent money on ads, a lot of money on ads, influencers, whatever the case is, building your brand to drive this traffic. But 87% of people are leaving without giving you their contact information. And then you're going to have to spend more money to retarget them and hope that they come back and buy when most of them are not, right? Just based on the stats. So what OpenSend does is that actually you can create parameters. So I could say like, hey, if someone visited my website for 2 minutes and visited at least 2 different pages, I want you to pull their information and add them to my email marketing list. I want you to add it to its own list called the OpenSend list. And then I'm going to send them a welcome email with a promotional offer and things like that too, to get them back in. So now what's happening is I'm able to take the cream of the crop of the traffic that I'm losing, that I spent so much money on. I don't want all of it because a lot of it's trash traffic, right? They come, they leave in 15 seconds, they leave in 5 seconds, they accidentally click, whatever it is. I don't want those people. But if I can create the filters and the parameters to get the best people, then what's happening is instead of going and spending dollars to get that customer, if not tens of dollars on Facebook and giving that money to Mark Zuckerberg, I can spend like 25 to 30 cents an email and get that contact added to my list. And they open at about a 55% open rate. So 1 out of 2 of these contacts is going to open the first email that I send them. And I'm going to be able to promote my products to them. And on top of that, I'm going to have their physical address. I can send them mailers. I can do whatever I want to retarget these people. But now what's happening is I'm not wasting all this traffic money, right? If out of the 87% remaining, I could take 17% of them. Now 30% total of the traffic that comes to my site, 1/3 of it is being captured from a data standpoint. I'm collecting their email in some way, shape, or form. And now I'm able to monetize a lot more. That's just the tip of the iceberg for all the things OpenSend can do in general. But that's like the main feature that built the company up to, 7 figures a month in revenue because so many e-com brands were doing it. And this company wasn't even like running ads or anything like that at the time, right? This was all just referral traffic from other people who were getting results. I mean, I got clients who do $7-8 million a month, and almost $2 million of that comes just from OpenSend. And for context, you're paying, 25, 30 cents an email. Their bill is not even 15 grand. It's like 12, 13K, and they're making, almost $2 million. So that's obviously a crazy case study example, right? But that's a real scenario. And people think it's illegal. People think it's fake. That's how good it is. I did the same thing. I used it. I thought it was illegal. I got lawyers, blah, 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 did everything. And then was so impressed that I ended up buying into the company. This is quite some time ago, almost 2 years ago at this point, but very,
Nice.
very bullish on that software.
Yeah, so go check out OpenSend. And Eddie, I was thinking something when I want to loop back just slightly back to SMS. Sometimes I would get SMS messages from things I opted into, companies I purchased from. Sometimes they feel spammy. I'm just going to be straight up and say it. So how can people kind of avoid that when they're sending SMS, avoid it being kind of that spammy sort of thing?
Yeah, so it's spammy because you only get promotions. And that's really the biggest problem in the SMS space. So like kind of like I was talking about in email, a lot of people make this mistake in email, but it's maybe like half their emails are promotions and the other half are not. Whereas on SMS, like 100% of a brand stuff is promotional. They think that they could just like, oh, I'm just going to send a sale every time. I mean, Fashion Nova is the king of this. My wife sees the same promotion in the same thread and somehow she gets excited about it. It was the same one she bought last week, but they'll basically send, promotion over and over and over again. And they'll do it in clever ways sometimes too. They'll do it based on real life events, holidays that are around. They'll do some witty copy and stuff like that. They know their avatar very well, like someone at a Fashion Nova level. So they're able to do so without like, feeling too spammy, but most brands aren't in that situation. So for example, what I do, and these texts, contrary to what people think, actually drive the most amount of profit. So I'll give you an example. You could do like motivational Mondays if you're like, whatever, coffee brand, right? For people who are like ambitious and work hard, like you could do a motivational Mondays text where every Monday in the morning, their time at 8 a.m. based on where the subscriber is, they get a text message with some really sick quote that gets them super excited for their week, right? They're going to always want to open that, and your brand's always going to be top of mind. And whenever they need that product category, they're going to go to your brand, and they're going to show their friends. They're going to tell their friends to subscribe to your Motivation Mondays, and now their friends are going to subscribe to it. And what happens is you're creating a referral source for people to want people to join your text list, and then that leads to you eventually sending them a promotion on text, and then them, obviously shopping with you. But a really cool example that we did is we basically we're selling products that had like, famous people on it. So one of them was like LeBron James. One of them was Michael Jordan. Big debate in the basketball world is which one is the greatest of all time. And so we sent a text saying, who's your basketball GOAT? We sent it only to males on the list, right? And we were very strategic about the segment we sent it to. And we asked, hey, who's the GOAT of basketball? Is it Michael Jordan? Is it LeBron James? Based on your answer, we'll give you a gift, like based on your answer, right? And dude, the responses were like, I did not expect this. I read them all because it was hilarious. But some of these guys were writing paragraphs. I mean, I could have copied some of these texts and filled up a Google Doc 2 pages just off the responses that these guys had. Like this was a very near and dear topic to these people's hearts. And they sent it, and then we'd send back, agreed, congratulations, whatever. It's cool because both of their jersey numbers are 23. And so we basically just responded to all of them with a 23% off discount code because they picked Michael Jordan as the GOAT or LeBron James as the GOAT. It's a pretty easy, thing for us to do. And like tell them, hey, we totally agree. That's the right answer. My colleague here thinks that, it's the other guy. You know what I mean? And we played like a big game out of it. It was the most responses we've ever had on a message. It was also the most amount of sales we've ever done. And again, cool reason. One, this kind of falls under the category of a logical discount code, like I was talking about earlier with the shipping stuff, right? Because people are like, they feel like they earn that code by picking their guy as the GOAT instead of the other guy, when in reality the code was going to be the same, right? But it gave room for conversation. Now they grew closer to the brand. They feel like the brand's listening to them. They agree with them when they talk about who their favorite, greatest player of all time on basketball is, etc. And so you can find ways to engage like that. We send messages all the time where people have to make a choice, red pill or blue pill. We literally send the emoji of the Matrix and him holding both pills, or the GIF. And then we say red pill or blue pill. You know what I mean? And we might not even ask anything else. We just say red pill or blue pill. And then based on their answer, we give them something, right? And so there's really cool ways to be creative with text, more than email, in my opinion, because it's easier. It's something everyone can respond to. They could be going about their day, get a red or blue text, and then decide blue. And then that leads them down a route of responses. And gamifying the text messaging game instead of just being another boring business that's just sending the same promotions as everyone else.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And by the way, it's Jordan is my pick. But that's a whole different subject. That's a different podcast.
I can usually tell when people, based on their age and the era that they watch basketball in, who their greatest of all time.
That is 100% true. I'm a bit older guy. Definitely got to see Jordan on TV and stuff. Definitely.
It's my generation fighting your generation, Rob. That's pretty
it is. It is. But but then again, the 3-point king is Curry. So Curry's the man for 3-pointers. For sure. So listen, let's loop back around on this. We got just a little more time left before I want to kind of talk more about bad marketing. And you're welcome to pick a different subject. If not, I would love to kind of hear you give maybe a little 60-day sort of layout for people that want to start, increasing their lifetime value. Like if we can give them just like a little playbook of here's what you're going to do the next 60 days, keep it a little high level because we could go probably too deep into this, but I'm sure people would love to hear that and just kind of get an idea of where they start.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
besides open send.
That's actually a really good one. That's probably gets us halfway there. So basically, well, something that's important, first of all, is I create my optimizations based on where the most opportunity is. Meaning, if the more traffic I have in that opportunity, that's where I'm optimizing first. So an example would be everyone goes to my landing page on the website. I'm going to optimize my landing page on the website for LTV, meaning I'm going to try to increase the AOV of the order as much as I can, increase the conversion rate, whatever it is, because that's where I have the most hits, right? For every 10,000 people that hit my landing page, maybe just for example's sake, maybe 1,000 out of the 10,000 hit my email list, right? So it would be silly for me to optimize the email before I optimize the front end, right? So I always start front to back. So first, increasing AOV, selling bundles, selling upsells inside of the cart, giving incentives to actually spend more money to unlock certain things. There are stores where I've used apps where we split test shipping. And some stores, for example, actually have twice the conversion rate at $9.99 shipping than it does for free shipping. Like, think about how fucking crazy that is. It doesn't even make sense. That's what that store did. And we tested it over like 10,000 visits and then 100,000 visits because we thought it was just a weird sample size, and it still ended up checking out, right? We tried free shipping, $4.99 and $9.99, and $9.99 had the highest conversion rate. It was crazy. So we're like, great, we're just going to charge $9.99 for shipping, get a higher conversion rate, and make $10 more an order, right? So there are so many things in that process in adding AOV and conversion rate to the actual store on the front end. That's probably the most important thing. On the back end, I would immediately start with a couple of things. So one, the post-purchase sequence, I would basically, you can divide out the sequence. So you could say like, sequence one, if this, or if that, or if that, or if that, pick these other sequences. And then what I would do is I would say, okay, if a customer just purchased this product and has not purchased this product, put them in a sequence selling them on this product right here that they didn't purchase. And the whole sequence is why these products are actually complementary, right? We obviously still talk about the brand and stuff like that, but our most built out post-purchase flows, you have to like zoom out to see the whole thing, because it's like 12 sequences of the same kind of sequence, just framed a little differently based on if they bought this product or if they didn't buy this product, or if they bought this product, or if they're a returning customer and they have this product but not this product, it looks like this. If they're a first-time customer and that's the same situation, then maybe it has the intro email about the brand and things like that, whereas the returning customer has something more catered to like, glad to see you here again type thing, right? So that's a very easy one overall. And I think very important is if you are selling a consumable product on the date of rebilling or whatever the case is, you want to like a few days beforehand, like get them excited again for the product, right? Talk about like results from the product, talk about like, why people take the product, talk about the upside of the product and the outcome of the product, all the things that you can do to get them re-excited about the product every time they're about to get another order coming in, I think is super important. And then I think the easiest thing that most people can do overall is on the checkout page, on like when you're actually going to add it to cart, not the checkout, but the actual landing page itself, have a pre-populated option for like a discount for subscription. 22% off for subscription, have that be the pre-populated option. And then they can pick the more expensive one for, no discount with no subscription. But what you're doing is you're basically getting more people to opt in for subscriptions for that discount, and then they become long-term customers, and much easier to increase AOV on those.
Love that. Love that. Hooking them in, to some sort of subscribe and save type offer. Always a great idea. Always going to move more items. Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love it. Eddie, great information. I want to talk a little bit about bad marketing, BAD marketing, bad marketing. Let everybody know what kind of service you guys offer, how people can reach out to you. And, it's not just paid ads. You guys do a lot over there. So tell everybody what you guys do.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, so long story short, we're full service. Like we launch our own brands even. So we have to do everything in-house. So we're able to provide those services externally for people, even all the way out to Amazon. We do hundreds of millions of dollars a year, some years over $1 billion on Amazon alone, right? But we're able to launch all these platforms is the good news. And the reason was we originally started as only a Facebook and Google ads agency. And then I'm talking back in 2017 to 20. And what happened was over time in e-com, we started seeing competition increase. We started realizing people need to really increase their back-end efficiency. They need to get more money from things like email and SMS that are free. And we started opening up those categories. Then all of a sudden ads became super difficult with the iOS update. And we realized creative was so important. So then we started building out like internal creative teams that make creatives. We got studios here in-house, etc. And then slowly but surely, then Amazon started becoming like such a huge profit source for so many businesses. And then we moved into Amazon, right? And so on, right? So we have 200 employees as a whole. So each person is a specialist in their role. Like if someone's only working on TikTok shops in our business, they're only working on TikTok shops. They understand e-com. They maybe have a background from email ads, all these other things in the email marketing or e-com side in general. But now they're focused just on TikTok. That's their life. That's what they live and breathe. That's what they work on every day. And so each lane is a specialist. The Amazon team only deals with Amazon. If you ask them to edit something on Shopify, 90% of them probably wouldn't even know how to do it. But if you ask them to run Amazon as a company, I'm sure they'd be able to do it at this point. So we do everything far in between. The thing is, like, the reason we're able to get that success for customers is we'll do an audit of every customer's business before we accept them on as a client. So even if you come to us and you say, hey, I got all the money, blah, blah, I got millions of dollars of funding, I want to do this, it doesn't mean we're going to take you on. We actually audit everything. We audit the product market fit of the product. We audit the offer, the COGS, and what the margins are. We audit the entire back end of the business from the email side to the Amazon side, et cetera. And we find all the holes. And even if you come to me, Rob, and you say, hey, dude, I want to do Facebook ads, and I audit your whole business, and I say, dude, if this is our budget, I'd rather spend it on Amazon because of XYZ reasons. Here's my proof of data of why this is a better opportunity based on the product. And we make the suggestion back to the client. If it's not a lane that we feel comfortable in based on the audit, we'll decline the client, because at the end of the day, like, we could sit here and make so much money. I mean, dude, in November, I remember I declined in November almost like $300K of recurring monthly revenue that was offered to us to pay and sign, which is a lot of money. I don't care how big or small your business is. That's a lot. Recurring monthly. And I declined them, or the sales team declined them, because of the audit process, and it is what it is, right? And so that's why we're able to get the results that we get. And we're just focused on that. Obviously, we can't get results for everyone. We try as best as we can. Sometimes it doesn't work out. That's just the world of marketing. But I mean, I'm pretty proud of the job we do, because we do a damn good job. And that's why BAD stands for bold and disruptive.
Nice. Love it. So listen up, everybody, real quick. I'm going to throw this up on the screen for those that are watching, but those listening, BAD Marketing, BAD marketing.com, badmarketing.com. Go check it out. If you're interested, maybe getting an audit, or checking out the different services they offer, or if you want to send a message through there to Eddie, maybe you have a question or something. I'm sure either one of his team or himself will probably answer it. And yeah, take a look at that, badmarketing.com. Eddie, great having you on. Really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to try to schedule you ahead of time, get you on in a couple more months, because I would like to talk about paid ads. By the way, Eddie was on stage at Camp Neva, and I couldn't stop. I think my hand got sore from writing all the notes. Luckily, he gave me all his slides. So we've already implemented probably several of the strategies and suggestions he made on stage, and it absolutely is paying off already. So thank you so much for that, Eddie. Thanks for being on the podcast. Listen up, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. Always looking for that thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and we'll see you all on the next episode. Thanks, Eddie.
Thanks for tuning in to E-Commerce Revamped. Ready to take your e-commerce business to the next level? Visit Miva.com for the tools to build seamless online stores and unforgettable customer experiences. Until next time, keep your cards full and your customers happy.